Now let us take an example of a finance lease. On January 1st, 2010, ABC Limited, a water bottling company, buys a small bottling and labeling machine for USD 7,710 from XYZ Limited under a finance lease. The terms of the lease are as follows. 1. The lease term is for 4 years. And 2. The deposit of USD 2,000 is payable on January 1st, 2010. Installments of $2,000 payable at the end of 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Interest rate is 15%. Required. A. What is the finance charge in each year of the lease? And B. What journal entries is required to record the $2,000 payment made to the lessor on 31st of December 2010. Now let's look at a solution to the A, that is the finance charge. What we know is that the cost of the asset is 7,710, but initially a deposit of $2,000 was made. In other words, the amount we are left with to be charging our interest on is 5,710. Now this 5,710 earns an interest of 15% in 2010, which is $856. And then within the same year, at the end of 2010, we make a payment of $2,000. So the amount we are left as our lease obligation is 4,566. And this figure is arrived at by adding 5,710 to our finance charge of 856, and then subtracting our end of year payment of $2,000, we're left with 4,506. In 2011, this 4,506 also earns an interest of 15% finance charge, which is 685. So after a payment of $2,000 is made, we are left with 3,251 to pay as at the end of 2011. Now in the year 2012, the 3,251 balance which we are left to pay earns an interest of 488. So after we make a payment of $2,000, we'll be left with 1,739 to pay as at the end of 2012. Now this $1,739 in the beginning of 2013 earns a finance charge of $261. So after we make a payment of $2,000, we'll be left with nothing else to pay. This is how we treat finance charge if the payment is at the end of the year. But if it were to have been at the beginning of the year, the treatment would have been different. We'll look at that in our next example. Now let us look at the solution for the question B, which goes like, what journal is required to record the $2,000 payment? Now we can remember from the initial calculations that in the year 2010 there was a finance charge of 856, so that goes to the debit side. And then if an amount of $2,000 is paid, that is cash of $2,000, the credit side is paid, then the difference between the 2,856 finance charge, which is the 1,144, is a finance lease obligation that we covered out of the payment of 2,000. Let us see question 2. This is basically almost the same as question 1, but there are only 2 changes made to it. This time around, there's no initial deposit of $2,000, and then the installments of $2,000 are payable in advance instead of question 1, which was being paid in arrears. So basically the whole structure is the same. Now let's see how to handle or treat a question like this. Let us look at the solution for the question 2. But let's be reminded that this time around the payments are being made in advance instead of at the end of the year. What this means is that the beginning of the year you make your payment. Moreover, there is nothing like an initial deposit in this question. Okay, so our structure will change a bit, because this time around the balance will come, we take away our payment, and then the balance that is left with the balance carry forward is what we'll charge 15% of finance charge on, to know our finance lease obligation. So in the year 2010, we all know that the price for the asset is 7,710. So we make an advance payment of 2,000, which will then reduce our balance to $5,710. Then we apply a 15% charge on it, which will lead us to $856. So we add our 856 to the 5,710, and then we get our balance of 6,567 for the year 2010. Now in the year 2011, our balance is 6,567. So we do our payment of 2,000, which will reduce the balance to 4,567. We apply 15% interest charge, which will end up to be 685. So now the finance lease obligation for 2011 will be standing at 5,251. Now in 2012, we make our usual payment of 2,000 to reduce the balance brought forward of 5,251 to 3,251. A 15% finance charge on it arrives at 488. To our balance be 3,739. That is after we add 488 to 3,251. Now in 2013, we make our initial advance payment of 2,000. That leaves us with a balance of 1,739. We now apply our finance charge. We arrive at 261. So now the summation of 261 to 1,739 leads us to 2,000. So what it means that at the early part of 2014, we make our initial payment of 2,000, and then we are done. Hello everyone, we finally come to the end of lecture 2. Kindly subscribe to our channel for more financial related information, and hope to now meet you again for lecture 3. Thank you, and God bless.